Lieutenant James Morrison had seen horrors in his 12 years of service. He'd watched colonies burn, watched soldiers fall, watched empires justify atrocities as necessary. But nothing prepared him for the holding cells beneath Kareth Station. The reconnaissance mission was supposed to be quick. In and out. Gather intelligence on the Valerian Empire's military operations. Report back to command. But when a structural collapse separated him from his squad, James found himself in the detention block, picking through rubble and trying not to think about being trapped. That's when he heard it. A voice, clear and desperate, calling out in a language that almost sounded like standard English. He found her in a reinforced cell, behind energy barriers that still hummed despite the station's failing power systems. She was humanoid, with silver-blue skin that seemed to absorb the dim light, and her eyes, violet and intelligent, fixed on him with equal parts hope and fear. "Don't shoot," she said quickly, pressing herself against the far wall. "Please, I'm not a threat." James lowered his weapon instinctively. "What are you? Why are you imprisoned?" "My name is Lyra. I'm Felnari, and I'm here because I refused." She took a breath. "The Empire captured my colony 3 cycles ago. They gave us an ultimatum, submit or be destroyed. Most of my people complied, but I spoke against it. I said we should fight. They call me an agitator, a threat to stability." James studied her through the bars. She wore simple prison garments, and her wrists bore the marks of restraint cuffs. No weapons, no threat indicators on a scanner. Just a prisoner. "How long?" he asked. 47 rotations. Her voice cracked slightly. "They were going to execute me tomorrow. They told me this morning. They said my defiance was setting a bad example for the other conquered species." Something inside James rebelled against that. He joined the military to protect people, to stand against tyranny. Somewhere along the way, the bureaucracy and politics had eroded that mission. But standing in front of this woman, he remembered why he'd enlisted in the first place. He holstered his weapon and examined the energy barrier controls. Fried. The backup systems were offline too. But the cell's physical lock was mechanical, old technology, reliable. He pulled a thermal charge from his pack. "What are you doing?" Lyra asked, alarm in her voice. "Getting you out. But you're a soldier. A human soldier. The Valorians say humans are. I don't care what they say." James worked the charge into the lock mechanism. "I care that you're in a cell for speaking your mind." "That's wrong. It's always wrong." The charge detonated softly. The lock sparked and died. The energy barrier flickered and vanished. Lyra emerged slowly, as if expecting a trap. When none came, she straightened to her full height, nearly equal to James's own. Her eyes searched his face. "Why would you help me?" "Because the war isn't supposed to be about imprisoning people for their beliefs. The moment we accept that, we've already lost." Alarms suddenly wailed through the corridor. James cursed. His thermal charge must have triggered security sensors. They had minutes at best. "Come on." He grabbed her hand, surprised at how cold her skin felt. "My squad is 3 levels up. If we move fast, they'll kill you if they find you've helped me." "Probably," James agreed, pulling her toward the stairwell. "But I'm not leaving you here to die." The journey through the collapsing station tested everything James had learned. Lyra moved with surprising agility, following his lead through collapsed corridors and past automated defense systems. When they encountered a Valerian patrol, she disabled them with knowledge of their own security codes, information she'd gathered during her imprisonment. When they reached the extraction point, James's squad was waiting, weapons raised. Their lieutenant appeared, battered but alive. "Morrison, what the hell is that?" "A witness," James said firmly, "to what the Valerian Empire does to people who won't submit. She's coming with us." Lyra stood beside him, shoulders back, violet eyes steady. The squad leader looked between them, then at Lyra's marked wrists, her prison garments, the defiant set of her jaw. "Load her up," the commander finally said. As the transport lifted away from Kareth Station, James watched Lyra gaze out at the stars. She turned to him with something like gratitude and hope in her expression. "When this war ends," she said quietly, "humans won't be forgotten. I will make sure of it." James nodded. Maybe that was how change happened. Not through force alone, but through one person refusing to accept injustice. Through choosing humanity, the real kind, over orders. The alliance they forged that day would change the course of the war.